Hello everyone, welcome to Weighintime. I'm Patrick, and on this episode it is Mindful Monday. I'm going to be giving you 5 everyday chores that you can do while you're practicing mindfulness. But first of all, drink some water. You need at least 2.5 litres of water every single day. This is your water reminder. Mindfulness is something which I feel really strongly about, and that's what Mindful Mondays is about. It's about helping people who have got depression and anxiety and working together to have some tips and tricks to actually get around this. And my personal go-to whenever I'm feeling stressed or whenever I'm feeling down is to go to mindfulness straight away, because that's what helps and brings you back to the moment, because 47% of the world worry about the past and worry about the future. And when you're right here, right now, you're paying attention to the world, what's going on around you, and also you're not worrying. Now, thinking about the past, it just doesn't help. It doesn't cause any, well, unless it's a really happy memory that you're thinking about, and then it's a positive experience. But if you're just constantly worried about what happened in your past, or worst, worrying about what's happening in the future hasn't been written yet. The future doesn't exist. You are imagining what's going on. So mindfulness keeps you in the moment, and that's what the mindful practice is. It's about being right here and right now and paying attention to the world around you. And once you practice and once you train yourself for mindfulness, you can do this at the drop of a hat. Honestly, now if I'm worried about an event which is coming up, or I'm worried about the future in any way, I just think to myself, the future hasn't happened yet. And my brain automatically, because I've trained it, thinks about the present and maybe things that I can do in order to maybe try and avoid what I'm worried about in the future. So that's what I wanted to do in this episode. I wanted to give you 5 everyday tasks that you do which are perfect for mindful practice. I will say that mindful practice needs to really be done for about 10 minutes a day. That's it, every single day. And if you are brand new to mindfulness and you have no idea what it is, I have done a video on it, which is up here and also down below. But you really need to go into it with full force. So, for example, maybe get a mindfulness book. The first one I got was Mindfulness for Dummies, but something which I really love, and I'm not sponsored, they haven't asked me to do this, it's nothing, no affiliation whatsoever, but the Headspace app. Now, you've probably heard of this, maybe your friends have got it or something like that. Headspace is a brilliant app to kind of just get your mind around mindfulness, and it's something which you can use every single day. So if you haven't got it, just go get it, and then you'll get a free trial of Headspace. Like I said, they're not affiliated with me. I don't get any money or anything from it. It's just a way of basically explaining what mindfulness is, and there's some really cool videos and stuff like that. So I strongly recommend it. I recommend, like I said, sitting down and doing mindfulness for about 10 minutes every day, preferably in the morning. And the more you do it, the more you train your brain to be able to think about things more clearly and also be in the moment, right here and right now. But there are everyday tasks which you do that you can do around that, which will also help your brain kind of train itself to be fluent in mindfulness. So these are my top 5 everyday chores that you are doing already, which you can incorporate mindfulness. The first one is showering every single day. Well, most people shower every single day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. But there are times where you have a shower and it's literally in and out, done, you're cleaned, you're dressed, you're on your way to work. And then there are other times, and everybody's had one of these, where they've had a shower and it's felt absolutely amazing. It's felt so stress relieving. Now, what's the main difference between shower number 1, where you're in and out, and shower number 2? The main difference is you're actually concentrating in shower number 2. Maybe you've had a long day at work and you just feel really stressed, and the water was running down your body and it was kind of making you less stressed. It was because you were just thinking about the water, thinking about it running down you. And the first time when you were in and out in 2 seconds, you were planning your day, you were wondering what you were going to do, you were wondering what the traffic was going to be like, you were wondering what the kids were going to eat. The moment was not any way related to having a shower. It was literally a chore that had to be done in order for you to start your day. But mindfulness in the shower is such an easy and rewarding thing for you to do. Now, when I mean mindfulness in the shower, I mean just close your eyes and feel all of the water surrounding you. Feel how your body feels when you are applying the soap, or feel how your stress is relieved when the water goes over your hair. And it's just a lovely experience if you are thinking about it, and if you're letting yourself and your mind be open to the fact that this shower is actually really, really awesome. But if you are just planning all of your day and what's happening and why you don't want to go into work during the shower, you're going to be stressed more so after the shower than you are before. So next time you're having a shower, just relax and enjoy it. And smell the soap that you're using, the shower gel that you're using. Smell the shampoo that you're using. Feel all of the water and feel what different impact it has on different parts of your body. And try not to think about the past or the future. If you do, don't worry about it. Just pay attention again to either the smell of the shower or the feel of the water. And then I guarantee that you'll be feeling a lot more alive, and a lot more refreshed at the end of your shower every day. The second one is cooking. Now, cooking is one of the greatest tasks for mindfulness. And a lot of people nowadays, they use their tablet, they use your laptop or their phone to actually watch TV and do stuff while they're cooking. And so much of the modern world today is lots of people just doing lots of things at once. And that's what I've just dropped my phone. There you go. Just drop it, throw it. No, don't throw it. But that's one of the reasons why the world's so chaotic and the world's so stressful is because everybody can't just do one thing at a time. The amount of times you've watched TV and you've been on your phone at the same time. Technically, you could be watching a video on your phone while the TV's on. Now, your brain's not going to be able to keep up with that. And cooking is one of those times where you can literally just do one task. And there are so many smells and feelings that come from cooking that if you pay attention to them, you'll have a brand new outlook on food, and you'll feel so much hunger after cooking than you do when you're just, thinking about other things or watching TV at the same time. So when you're cooking, take time. If you're cutting an onion, feel what that feels like and smell it, and pay attention to all of the aromas and all of the different spices and scents and stocks that you're putting into your meal. And just pay attention while you're cooking. Don't be distracted by the TV. Don't be distracted by anything else. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. If you even close your eyes for a while and just smell all of the different vegetables and all of the different flavors coming through, that's putting yourself in the moment. You're going to feel a lot more hungry afterwards. And you're also going to have a bit of a deeper connection with the food when you're serving it. Top chore or tip number 3 is mindful eating. Now, I've actually done a video on this last week on Mindful Monday, so I'm going to link that up above and also in the description below. But eating is something that we do all the time, every day, and it's a great way of doing a mindful practice. So it's just about paying attention to what is going in your mouth and also the smells and aromas. So very similar to mindful cooking, except you're actually obviously eating the food afterwards. It's a really good way of building the brain to concentrate on what's happening here and now. And I did say in that video, whether or not you watch TV or you don't watch TV while you're cooking, while you're eating even, the best thing to do is turn the TV off and just pay attention to your meal. There's 2 things that it does. First of all, it relaxes you and calms you down. And secondly, it also makes you fuller for longer, so it helps for weight loss. If you do pay attention to all of the food that you're eating and are really mindful about your meals, so you're not going to eat as much as you would if you just scoff it down while you're watching TV. Chore/tip number 4 is being outdoors. Now, outdoors, when I say this, is a broad thing, but obviously you're not at home. Maybe you're listening to music while you're outdoors. The best thing to do is just listen to nature, listen to outdoors themselves. And when I say outdoors, nature, you don't need to go to a forest. You don't need to go to some amazing garden for this. You can go to the street. You can go anywhere if you're in the middle of a busy city. And just while you're walking, just pay attention to what's going on around you. Most of the time, and I am guilty for this as well, we spend time thinking about the past, thinking about the future, and we don't pay attention to what's going on around us. Because, let's face it, this world is a beautiful place. Most parts, just saying. But this world is a lovely place. There are things which are happening all around you which are amazing, but you're just not paying attention to them because you're in your mind constantly. So while you're out and about, just listen for car horns, for people, listen for just anything. If you are in the countryside, listen for animals and bees. And if you are feeling particularly stressed, the best thing to do is go for a walk. And most people already do this, but sometimes going for a walk doesn't really help you because you're just thinking about your problems. And then you come back and you're like, well, it's just meant I'm thinking exactly the same, but instead of being in my house, I'm outdoors. But when you're stressed, go outdoors and just start listening to what's going on around you. Start smelling the scents that you can go around you. Unless you're going through a fish market or something, probably not a good idea. But just pay attention to the world around you, particularly when you're outdoors. If you're gardening, feel how the earth feels, feel how flowers feel. There's so many things which you can do while you're outdoors in order to train your brain, in order to do mindfulness. So outdoors is tip number 4. And tip number 5 is public transport, or transport in general. Public transport is a really good one because you can close your eyes on public transport and the high likelihood is nobody's going to get into a crash. But if you're driving, you can still do it. You can still pay attention to all of the roads around you. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Try not to be thinking about the past and the future. If you're on your way to work, you're not at work yet, so don't think about it. Don't worry about it. Just pay attention to what's going on around you. Feel the steering wheel in your hand. Feel the noises or hear the noises of the car. Think about the automatic response that you do when you change gear. Now, when you change gear, you do it without thinking. But there's a reason why. Something happens, whether or not the car speeds up, the speedometer's gone up, the revs have gone up. Your subconscious is thinking about that and thinking, right, it's time to change gear now. There's a long process going on in your head, but for you don't even think about it. So think about your car journey. If you're even going to the shops, just think about how your car feels and how the gear changing occurs. Think if you're on a public transport, try and listen to the people around you, listen to the engine, feel what it's like just to sit down. And transport is a perfect place for you to do what's called in mindfulness a full body scan. And it's basically, again, only do this if you're on public transport. Don't do this if you're driving. But close your eyes and just breathe in and out and just feel your feet touching the floor. Feel what your legs feel like and literally do a scan from your toes to the top of your head, or from the top of your head down to your toes, and just feel all of the individual muscles. And I thought when I first started this is ridiculous, but honestly it's amazing when you pinpoint exactly what your body is feeling. You actually feel different things and you actually pay attention. And the whole point about mindfulness is that your brain cannot concentrate on more than one thing at a time. So your brain is just thinking about what you're telling it to think it's about. So if you're just thinking about right here and right now, it's going to listen to the sound. You can listen to sound and smell, but you can only concentrate on one of them. So this is what mindfulness is doing. If at any point your mind is starting to wander to the past or to the future, because your mind can't wander to here and now because you're living it, just train your brain, and if it starts to wander, just think about or start smelling something, or start listening to something, or start feeling something. And your brain will go into that, and then that thing that you're worried about or thinking about will be gone. And if you train your brain with mindfulness for long enough with these little steps and little tips, then your brain gets a lot easier or your brain trains itself so that you can think about things from the future and things from the past, and then it's trained in order to bring your attention to right here, right now, which relieves stress, relieves anxiety, and makes you feel happier for longer. So that's this episode of Weighintime. If you've got any thoughts about it, if you've got any tips yourself, if you do mindfulness, pop it into the comments section below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you like these videos that I'm doing for Mindful Monday, please let me know in the comments section, because I really enjoy making them and I would love it if you actually like them as well. And if you do, of course, hit the like button and subscribe. I'll be back again tomorrow for Tips Tuesday. If you've got any tips that you'd like me to share, then let me know in the comments section below. Have an amazing morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this, and I will catch you again tomorrow for another Weigh-In Time. I'll see you then.